Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're digging into something pretty important. What happens when AI has to navigate our most vulnerable moments, and how OpenAI is trying to teach it to respond with real care.
So, a user is in distress. What should an AI do? That question is really at the core of OpenAI's latest safety improvements for ChatGPT. It's a huge challenge, right? How in the world do you program empathy and responsible guidance into a machine?
And let's be real, people are already turning to AI for these kinds of deeply personal conversations, whether it's to vent, ask for advice, or just work through their feelings. And that creates a brand new challenge for developers, making sure the AI responds not just accurately, but in a way that's safe and genuinely supportive. And this right here, it's a really crucial distinction. OpenAI's updated principles aren't about turning the AI into a therapist. The whole goal is to make it a better bridge, something that supports users while actively, gently guiding them toward the real-world relationships and professional help they might actually need.
So, how do you even begin to build a safer response? Teaching a massive language model how to handle these delicate situations, it's not like you can just flip a switch. You have to build a rigorous, repeatable process. Okay, so what they've done is create this deliberate 5-step cycle. It starts with defining exactly what a potential harm looks like, then measuring how often it happens. And this is key, bringing in outside experts to check their approach before they even start retraining the model. And it's not a one-and-done thing, it's a constant loop of measuring and iterating.
Now, a huge part of managing that risk is creating these incredibly detailed guides, which they call taxonomies. You can almost think of them like playbooks for the AI. They define precisely what an ideal response looks like versus a not-so-great one in any given sensitive scenario.
So, to make this whole thing manageable, because you can't just boil the ocean, right? They decided to focus their initial efforts on 3 specific high-stakes areas where a bad response could have some pretty serious consequences.
And these 3 areas were picked for a really good reason. The first 2, psychosis and self-harm, are about potential emergencies. But the third one, emotional reliance, that's a more modern problem, isn't it? What happens when someone forms an unhealthy attachment to an AI, maybe at the expense of their human connections?
So, that's the process. But the big question is, did it actually work? Well, OpenAI measured the impact in 2 main ways, through expert evaluations and by looking at real-world user traffic. And the results are pretty revealing.
Okay, first up, the expert evaluations. They brought in independent mental health clinicians, gave them some really challenging scenarios, and had them rate the AI's responses. And look at these numbers. The new model produced way fewer undesired responses,